Time right now is 8:30. Good Monday morning. This is the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. Also streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And I'm your host this morning, Colin Worthington. Qualifying for the March 16th special election for the District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners is ongoing. Today, starting the second week for that early voting. It's at the Haralson County Courthouse, and that special election will be for District 4 residents only, and it will determine who will fulfill the unexpired term of former Commissioner Brad Vines, who passed away back in August of last year. This morning, we're speaking with one of two candidates. A gentleman on the phone with us this morning is Ryan Farmer. Jeremy Church is the other candidate, and we do hope to bring him on a future program. I'm going to say good morning to Ryan Farmer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Colin. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Absolutely. We appreciate you checking in with us here. Today is the second week, starts the second week of early voting. What do you know about the early voting as far as the numbers that have shown up so far?
Yeah, they were a little low last weekend. Look, that's to be expected. Kind of an odd time to have an election in March, and especially coming off, the last 4 or 5 months, it seemed like we were going every month to vote for something new. So I know there's a little bit of voter fatigue, I guess, if you will, and also the fact that we only have the one early voting location up in Buchanan, and with my district being mainly Tallapoosa, Buncombe, Stedman area, a lot of people I think will just wait to vote on Election Day. So I look for a better turnout on Election Day than what we've seen so far.
And what are those polling places in that district, in that ward?
Yeah, so we've got the Stedman precinct, you've got the Tallapoosa precinct, which is out there at the library, as well as the Buncombe precinct, which is up at Antioch Church. So those are the three precincts that would fall into my district.
Gotcha. So if you're used to voting in that in those polling places, this is your race. So pay attention to it. How about the boundaries? I guess we know where people are living. What's the territories?
Yeah. It's so the district's kind of cut up a little bit weird, but if you kind of start in the southwest corner of the county down there at the Carroll County and Alabama state line, if you run right along the north line of Carroll County out to the Waco exit off I-20, everything south of I-20 out to there, then it kind of cuts up on the north side of I-20 right around where Old Ridgeway Road comes into Highway 78, then kind of jigs back and forth a little bit going up, comes in just past the high school, runs back along the river up to goes up 100, kind of everything on the left side of 100, and then everything out on the left side of Stedman as well. So kind of cut up a little bit, but a decent size area district-wise. Yeah,
Ron Farmer is one of two candidates seeking to fulfill the unexpired term of that District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. Now we know where that district is and everything. Who are you, Ryan Farmer? What are you about? What do you do?
Yeah, Colin, like I said, thanks for having me on this morning. When Steve gave me the call the other morning and asked if I'd be interested in doing this, I was excited to be able to hop on. But, I currently work as an attorney up at the state capitol for the House Republican Caucus. My wife and I live in Tallapoosa. I'll be doing currently in my third session up here at the State House with the House Republicans, and prior to that, I worked over in the state Senate for the previous majority leader before Senator Dugan became majority leader. I was the general counsel for the last one. Went to law school down in Macon at Mercer, and graduated from North Georgia with my undergrad degree.
How long have you been in Haralson County and in your district in particular?
Yeah. So I've lived in Tallapoosa nearly 3 years now. Grew up born in Hall County. Grew up in Gainesville, Cumming area, and went off to college for a few years at Truett McConnell and played baseball up there, and that's where I met my wife, Chelsea, at. She's originally from Tallapoosa, and so we met up there and started dating shortly thereafter, and dated all through law school. And once I graduated law school, I told her I wanted to move out to her neck of the woods, and so we've lived out there for nearly 3 years now.
That was going to be my question. What brought you to Haralson County? Although I could talk about baseball with you for 25 minutes instead if you'd rather.
If you want to do that all morning, I'm more than happy to do that with spring training underway. I think we'd have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about what got you motivated to seek this seat. Are there particular issues that you've seen in Haralson County, maybe on the west side over the last several years?
Yeah.
What's motivated you to seek this seat?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm running for this seat for one reason, and it's because I want this district and this county in particular to be a great place to raise my family. My wife and I don't have kids yet, but we plan on having children, and this is where they're going to grow up. And when they get out of school, when they get out of high school, if they choose to go off to college, if they want to come back to Haralson County and they want to come back to the Tallapoosa area, I want there to be businesses and opportunities for them to come back and work and live where they grew up at. I want it to be a community that they can be proud to say that they're from. And that's really the only reason that I'm running for this seat.
Ron Farmer, one of two candidates seeking to fulfill the unexpired term of that District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. Is that going to be like a 2.5-year term? Is that what that is?
So this one will actually expire next November. So it came in, like I said, it's a special election. So I think Brad's seat he was about halfway through his term. So this will take over for his, and he stand for re-election next November.
Well, I think if you go back and look at the biggest issues, and I encourage you to add some more to me here, but one of the bigger issues we've seen constituents talk about over the last 6 months is the potential for this landfill to come into Haralson County.
Absolutely.
I guess what are your opinions on that? What feelings do you have? It's not been presented before planning and zoning. Mm-hmm. It's not been presented to the Board of Commissioners, but based on the fact that it's out there, the company, the developers already set up shop in Tallapoosa.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What are your feelings on that?
Yeah, look, I'm strongly opposed to any type of landfill coming to Haralson County. Opposed for a few reasons, but the number one reason is I don't see any promising benefit that would come out of this now or in the future. We have a lot of great resources in Haralson County, and close to the top of that list is land, and available land and cheap land. And that land is something that could be used for a much better purpose for good quality industry to come to the area. And I just don't feel like the landfill is a good use of that land. You're right that is the number one issue that I face oftentimes, when I'm speaking with people. And it's an issue that I've been kind of out in front on and been opposed to pretty much the entire time. Like I spoke about earlier, I want to see this community and this county grow in a positive way and in a responsible manner, and I just don't feel like a landfill is the proper way to grow.
Are there any promises the developer could make to the county about as far as maybe how much money they'd put back into this system? About, I saw somebody mention that there was a conversation about proposing a lake. Is there anything that they could say to change your mind as far as whether you would support or be against this?
Yeah, no, there's not. Like I said, I don't see any type of a positive benefit. And look, we have other issues aside from a landfill in Haralson County. Like you just said, we do have a water issue. We have a lack of reliable high-speed broadband, an issue of that in this county, in particular in my district. But a landfill is not the right way to do that. And to speak about the amount of money that it could bring, it would bring in tax dollars to a certain extent. They would phase out over time in regards to the tipping fees portion that he would bring in. But I don't know, last time I checked, just because the county made money didn't mean that I made any money. I don't expect the county to be cutting me a check for the money they're making off the landfill. So there's really nothing I could see the landfill promising that would ever make me change my opinion on that.
When this project was brought up, the best we know, it was brought up last year. As information started trickling out a little bit. When would have been the best time to tell constituents that this was a plan? I mean, the day that the company comes into the community, they are asking questions. What is the appropriate time to give constituents heads up for something like this? Because, again, it still hasn't been brought before planning and zoning.
Yeah, I mean, we are kind of in a waiting game right now. Like you said, it got brought up last summer. I think the company kind of went around to different areas of the county, different municipalities, and held some meetings about it, kind of threw out what their plan was. And then, like you just said, they had they've recently set up shop in Tallapoosa. And, but I really wish that I could say, we've got, 3 more months till they submit a plan, 6 more months. It's kind of been in the dark on a lot of this stuff when it comes to what their plans are. I would hope that they would give us a decent amount of heads up, just so that we as a community could kind of gather together and discuss this and discuss our plan of action moving forward through all this, because this is not something that's going to affect just us. I mean, this is something that will affect this community in this area for years and years, and it's a decision that should be made involving everyone, because it's a decision that's going to affect everyone.
Now, that property that they're planning development, what is that currently zoned?
I believe it's currently zoned residential or A4 agriculture. I know it has not been zoned. It has not been rezoned in a number of years, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what's the verbiage in the zoning that allows for landfill on any property in Haralson County?
Yeah.
And is that something that can be changed before it's presented, before planning and zoning?
Yeah, there are, we do have a municipal solid waste plan in the county, and that's something that you've seen the Haralson County Alliance for Responsible Waste Management, the citizens group that has been formed kind of in opposition to this to raise awareness about the damages that landfills can do. That's been something they've been out in front on for a while, and that's just making sure that our solid waste plan is updated so that the proper steps are taken as we go through this. I believe that those solid waste plans are supposed to be kind of updated every 10 years, and it's been well over 10 years since ours was last updated. So that's definitely something that we have to take a look at much sooner rather than later to the changes that can be made on that to ensure that, first of all, the county's best interests, are at heart, that everybody's opinions and concerns are heard, and all of that is factored into the updating of that plan.
Ryan Farmer, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of two candidates seeking that currently vacant District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. As an attorney, what likely is to happen this year if they bring that proposal to Planning and Zoning, and then bring a proposal to the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. What rights does the Haralson County Board of Commissioners actually have to stop this if they choose to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I've told everyone as we've as I've been meeting people, going door to door and being asked this question, this is not something that's going to happen, now within the next 6 months or a year. I mean, this is a long and drawn out process. You're talking years before you even see any type of a landfill out there if it were to go through. But the first step is, like you said, there would have to be a proposal submitted, and it then have to go to the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, and they would do some planning and some studying before it would come back down, in front of the zoning board, and then eventually before the commissioners. So, ultimately it's going to lie with zoning and planning as well as the board of the commissioners to approve any type of a project like that. So go ahead.
I will say in this question, my final question in this segment, we don't even have to focus on the landfill with this question, but when is it okay for a county to tell a property owner that he or she cannot do with their property what they want? I mean, do you have a checklist, a set of guidelines that would determine?
Absolutely. When we talk about development and you talk about landfills, I look at it as, everybody has a right to use their property as they see fit, as long as it's not harming someone else. This is not that type of a project. The ill effects of a landfill, especially one of this magnitude, is not going to be contained just within those property bounds. This is something that's going to affect residents on every side of that for years and years and years. And so when you talk about the negative effects that something like that is going to happen on the environment, on surrounding home values, on a prohibition to growth in the future, at that point, I do feel like it's proper for a county, and it's the responsibility of a county, honestly, to step in at that point and say, this is not just something that is for your use on your property. This is something that's going to affect the county as a whole, home values, like I said, and the environment, and many other ill effects are going to be had for a number of years.
Our guest on this morning's Community Voice is Ryan Farmer. He is one of two candidates running for the District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. Jeremy Church is the other candidate who did qualify back last month for this race. We'll take our first break and come back and continue our conversation with Ryan Farmer. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System, Oak Mountain Academy, here on News Talk 1330 and FM 106.3.
Travel, get-togethers, Sunday morning worship. COVID-19 has almost put a stop to our way of life. Vaccination is our best shot at getting back to normal. The COVID-19 vaccine is based on more than a decade of research. Trials show it's safe and can provide up to 95% protection when you've received both doses. Tanner is committed to making the vaccine as widely available as possible, giving you a shot at getting back to life. Until then, keep wearing your mask, washing your hands, and avoid gatherings. Learn more and get updates at tanner.org/vaccine.
As a graduate of Oak Mountain Academy, I've found that my experience on the mountain prepared me beyond all expectations. As a junior at Auburn University, I approached my studies with great confidence thanks to what I learned at OMA. When I think back on my time on the mountain, I think of my teachers. Their genuine love and concern for me as a student was always evident, and now, as an adult, I still foster those relationships. I'm Carly Robinson, an Oak Mountain Academy alum. Visit oakmountain.us to see how you can offer your child an amazing opportunity to be a warrior.
.846. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. Also streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. My guest this morning is Ryan Farmer, one of two candidates running for that District 4 position on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. At the conclusion of this program, if you missed any of it, we're going to post it up on our Facebook page. I'd say about 11 o'clock this morning, so you can go up there and re-listen to it and share it on your Facebook, again, if you missed any of it. Ryan Farmer, our guest. Ryan, what part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected? What would, what do you see your role? You're an attorney. Obviously, you bring in a good skill set there, but what part of county government would receive more attention?
I look at growing our county in a responsible manner. That starts with working with our Chamber of Commerce, with economic development. I think that my job up here at the state capitol gives me a unique insight, the unique ability to meet with state elected officials as well as state business leaders to see what we can do about growing Haralson County. We're in a perfect location for quality growth. Just far enough away from Atlanta, between Atlanta and Birmingham, and you look down between Columbus and Chattanooga. We're in a wonderful location and really primed for good quality growth. So that's something that I would like to focus on. And that goes without saying, look, we're going to have to do some things to address our lack of internet and our water issues that we've seen rear their ugly heads in the past. And until we can get those types of things sorted out, we are going to have a harder time attracting those businesses. But that would be my number one priority. Aside from the landfill issue of what I would focus on the commission.
And I've said this for years, and we people say it all the time, just that perfect location where Haralson County is, and right off of I-20, right in the middle between Birmingham and Atlanta. But do Haralson County residents want to see, you use quality growth, do Haralson County residents want to see growth in Haralson County? They want the internet. They want all those things that maybe lack of growth is hurting them and getting a little bit. But do you see them, do they want, how do they feel about any potential growth in Haralson County?
Yeah, I think they're ready for it. I think there might have been a time in years past where, we wanted the county to kind of stay the way it was. And look, when I talk about quality growth, I don't think anyone wants Tallapoosa, Haralson County to turn into a Douglas County or to explode like that. But I do think that we want more opportunities, for ourselves, obviously, but more so for our children and grandchildren coming along, because if you look at the trajectory that the county's on, that if we continue down this path much longer, there's not really going to be a lot left as our children get older. You look at the high schools gone from a 4A high school not too many years ago to now a 2A high school, and the number one thing that tells me is that when these kids get out, they're not coming back because there's nothing to come back to. So if we don't start making investments and commitments to grow this county in the right way, there's not going to be anything left for kids to come back to. But I do think it's something that most residents want in Haralson County, especially in my district. Like you said, we are in a perfect location. And when I go door to door asking, that's the outside of the landfill talk, the number one issue is, what are you going to do to help us grow? And that's what I'm really focused on.
Ryan Farmer, one of two candidates for the District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. Should you win this election, March the 16th? Is that when
March,
election
yes,
day is? So I imagine they would try to swear you in pretty soon after that, which would mean that you would be there just in time with the budget talks. And
yeah.
What experience do you have with budgets?
Working up here at the state legislature has given me a pretty unique insight into how budgets work. Obviously, a county budget's a little bit different than a state budget, but seeing the process and all the insight and the work that goes into creating a budget, having witnessed it firsthand here in the House, that's where the budget comes from for our state. It's developed right here in the House, and being involved in that process, seeing how that process works, I think would give me a unique insight into developing a solid, responsible, conservative county government.
Should any part of the county budget be shielded from cuts? And if so, which area?
We have to look at everything. We were fortunate in the state of Georgia, with the COVID pandemic, we were fortunate to weather the storm much better than other states did. And that's not to say that we haven't suffered and we have not had issues in our budget. But I think if you look overall from a county and a state perspective, we've actually done quite well in this. And a lot of that is due to some bills that have passed up here at the state legislature. I know one in particular last year, Marketplace Facilitator, for instance, allows companies or allows individuals who purchase goods online, it allows the county that they live in to collect those tax dollars. And so when you talk about a county like Haralson County, and you look at how our shopping has shifted, whether it's online through Walmart or whether it's online through Amazon or these other retailers, the fact that we're now able to collect those tax dollars, that sales tax, and it's coming back to the county is huge for a county like ours, especially in the midst of this pandemic. So obviously you want to avoid cutting things as much as possible. Ultimately, at some point, those ups and downs in the economic cycle do force your hand sometimes, but obviously prioritizing education, prioritizing infrastructure, those would be the two main things that I would hope to protect as much as possible. But that goes without saying that we need to avoid cuts for as long as we can and look for alternate ways to raise revenue. All
right, my final question in this segment may be self-defeating here for you, but if it was presented. If the Board of Commissioners had the option to present a vote to Haralson County voters on whether they'd prefer just to have a sole chairman or maintain a Board of Commissioners, how would you feel about that? Giving the voters the opportunity to decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if that's what people want, that's what people want. I'm running for this position because I want to work for the people of this county. Not running for this position because they can give me anything or provide me anything. If that's what the people of Haralson County want, then I think that we owe it to them to give them that. I will say, however, it can be a double-edged sword. I personally like the board structure. I think that it provides for a diversity of thought and opinion, and really brings out the best ideas for the county to move forward. I do believe you lose some of that when you go to a sole commissioner. Now you look at a guy like Steve Taylor up in Bartow County, fantastic sole commissioner. If you have somebody like that running your county, you don't ever need a board. But I think Steve Taylor is probably the exception to the rule in this case. And so I do believe that a board structure is a better structure for most counties. But, ultimately we work for the people at the end of the day.
Ryan Farmer, one of two candidates running for that District 4 seat. It's vacant on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. He's our guest this morning. We're going to take our final break, and looks like I'm going to come back with exactly 5 minutes. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
Travel, get-togethers, Sunday morning worship. COVID-19 has almost put a stop to our way of life. Vaccination is our best shot at getting back to normal. The COVID-19 vaccine is based on more than a decade of research. Trials show it's safe and can provide up to 95% protection when you've received both doses. Tanner is committed to making the vaccine as widely available as possible, giving you a shot at getting back to life. Until then, keep wearing your mask, washing your hands, and avoid gatherings. Learn more and get updates at tanner.org/vaccine.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our daily schedule includes convocation, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing so, we build a family-like community where all students grow and flourish and personal faith is encouraged. through community service and a historical approach to biblical study. Our students are taught the value of the warrior way: honesty, respect, and responsibility. Oak Mountain Academy. We are a family creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
8:55, Community Voice. Colin Worthington, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, wrapping up our conversation with Ryan Farmer. He is one of two candidates running for that District 4 seat on the Haralson County Board of Commissioners. Going to try and sneak in a couple of quick questions. First of all, Ryan, should employees, Haralson County employees, should the COVID vaccination be mandatory for them?
Look, I don't think that a COVID vaccination should be mandatory. I think it's responsible for all of us to strongly consider getting that vaccination. I know once that vaccination becomes available for people like me, I'll be the first in line to get it. But at the same time, I don't know if that's necessarily something we should be mandating at this time, given what we know about the virus. I'm not really ready to go there.
You have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of obligations. You're working in Atlanta. How much time do you see yourself being able to commit to this job on a weekly basis as a Haralson County Commissioner? Yeah,
look, as much time as needed to get the job done. I've never really been one that requires sleep, so no type of schedule or amount of work is going to get too much for me. The good thing about working up here in Atlanta is it is only 3 months out of the year. Do go kind of hard for a little while up here, but after those 3 months, it's kind of back to life as normal. But my work schedule won't have any impact on my ability to serve the people of District 4 and of Haralson County in any way.
All right, the last 2 minutes of the show, I try to give our candidates a good opportunity to maybe touch on some things we didn't say, or just kind of reiterate the stronger points they feel about their candidacy. So, with 2 minutes left to go here, why should we vote for you?
Yeah, look, Colin, first of all, thank you again for having me on this morning. I've appreciated that time to get my message out to the residents of Haralson County and District 4. But if I'm walking down the street and someone asks me why they should vote for me, I'd simply tell them what I told you at the beginning of this show for the reason of why I ran. And that's simply because I want this to be a place that my kids can be proud of, and that there's opportunities for them when they get older. This is where I've chosen to plant my family. This is where my children are going to go to school. They'll graduate as Rebels out there at the high school. They'll play baseball and basketball on Saturday mornings up at the Tallapoosa Rec Department. This is where my wife will continue to teach and currently teaches. And this is a community that we love. At the end of the day, I'm not running for this seat because of anything that it can do for me. I'm running for this because I want to make a better community and a growing community that grows in the right way, so that we can give opportunities to all of us currently living in the district, but more so for our children and grandchildren, so that when they get out of high school, or if they choose to go off to college, when they come back, that they have opportunities to come back to.
Well, Ron Farmer, it was good to meet you and good to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Colin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate you having you on the program. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Stay dry. Time right now is 8:25. Community Voice is always brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're going to try and locate Jeremy Church. Not that he's been hiding or anything, but we're going to try and locate him and get him on the program either tomorrow or Wednesday or whenever it fits his schedule. If you missed any of today's program, again, we're going to post it up on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page later on this morning, so I encourage you to visit our